So, been a minute since I last posted anything on this godforsaken channel. That laughing there just about sums it up perfectly. Nothing else needs to be said.
Yeah, I mean...
So, I don't need to go into any further detail.
That's
but what
the video.
I will say... Yeah, you know what? We're just gonna end this recording here. It's scrap. Done with. There's nothing else to say.
Since I have not been posting on my channel either, can you send me this? This will just be the video for the month for both of us. Just different perspectives.
We're gonna lay down this video nice and slowly, like how Luigi, you know, Super Mario Bros. Luigi lays pipe to Princess Daisy.
Oh my.
Whatever that broad's name is.
It's Peach.
So. No, that's Mario's girl.
Oh, okay. Sorry, go on. You're talking about
no,
Halo.
actually no. That's or depending on the time of day and such. That's also Bowser's girl. Anyways, so it's been a while since the previous video, and I figured the last video was Halo. So why not come back with more Halo? Nothing but hype for this franchise. You can hear the enthusiasm in Bugster's voice. He's never been so excited to talk about Halo in his life. Buggy, how excited are you to talk about Halo right now? Can you describe it on a scale of 1 to 15?
Well, I had a colonoscopy yesterday, and I was more excited about having something shoved up my ass than talking about Halo, so that should sum it up.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
I don't want to be here. Okay, people watching, I'm being held against my will to talk about Halo. Send help. Sorry, I didn't mean to outburst like that.
So let's talk about various things with Halo, which we're both in agreement at this point. We're both just very at peace when it comes to anything to do with this franchise. It's just, more than ever as a Halo fan, I've come to the realization that where Halo is at as a franchise is simply what it's meant to be. And what's being read in this video is going to hopefully enlighten those who have yet to see the way. Your third eye, your fourth eye, your fifth eye, your testicles will all be fully opened upon reading this. Your ass cheeks, many things.
Do you know the way? Sorry.
I do not know the way.
Sorry.
Nothing like a 2018 throwback. So, the first thing here I want to read, when it comes to this article, it says microtransactions coming to Halo Master Chief Collection. Now, this has been news for a little while, and it's finally happening. This article says. I'm so thankful that the article starts off with so much excitement. Hey guys, you know those things called microtransactions and how Master Chief Collection doesn't have them? Well, good news! It's finally happening!
It does not read it like that, does it?
Dude! It's finally fucking happening! It's a Halo miracle! I'm so hyped. I wish I had some trail mix to eat this time around like the previous video.
I'm eating trail mix,
but
by the way.
I forgot it, so it's not relevant.
That's okay.
It's not okay, but we'll just brush it off. So 343 has confirmed a new premium currency called Spartan Points.
Oh my
AKA
god.
not COD points. They're nothing alike. This is Spartan Points and COD points are COD points, so don't compare them. Fucking haters. All you guys are just entitled haters who wear nostalgia goggles for the Bungie games, which were even that good in hindsight. I want to shoot myself after saying that even as a joke.
Chill.
Even if this is just sarcasm, I feel nothing but misery and pain saying that. So, is coming to the Master Chef Collection that will allow players directly purchase cosmetics and skins instead of playing the game instead. You can just buy them right out. Because why grinds when we can just artificially have the shit be as stretched out as possible? Just, fuck it. Buy things with your real money.
Just swipe daddy's credit card to unlock the the latest Master Chief trip.
Look, if you're broke, don't play Master Chief Collection. Plain and simple. You're not allowed to play these games anymore. Your account's banned. So you best watch out. Better not cry. I'm telling
crying.
you why. Master Santa is coming to town, and he's gonna teabag you when he finds you. And
Oh my God, we've got it.
He'll get a case. He'll get a case for sexual assault.
We've got to talk about that at some point in this video, but okay, go on.
For players who are new to the MCC or who have not dedicated much time specifically to unlocking items during the seasonal updates, or simply completionists looking to catch that last outstanding item they need, we are internally exploring a new potential feature for the future form of purchasable Spartan laser pointers. What are your thoughts, Buggy, on microtransactions in the Master Chef Boyardee collection?
I think that they are realizing that people don't fuck with their work and their new thing that they invested all this money in. And they realize that MCC is now pulling more average players than Infinites. And I think now they're being petty about everyone going back to the Bungie games for the MCC. And now they are incorporating things that is going to inevitably ruin MCC. I think this is all out of pettiness, to be honest.
Only that, potentially. I think it's just, at this point, it's so clear no one cares about the series, who's in charge of it.
No.
Not a single person.
No.
And they probably figure, this shit's on its last leg. Let's just milk it for what else it's worth at this point.
Yeah,
for those few hardcore players that are still around, we're just gonna leave these for the whales. Have fun. What the fuck was that?
That, what you heard right there, was one of the last developers at Halo Infinite taking their life.
They just got to respawn. Okay, so this has been a thing for a little bit. Things are about to get much worse for 343 Industries. Frank O'Connor, the franchise creative director, was banned from Reset Era and NeoGAF for racist jokes.
I heard about that. Like, what's good, man?
His name there was Stinkles. He'd been banned a few times before his permaban.
What was his name?
Stinkles.
That sounds like a porn name. Just saying, it sounds like a porn star name.
He sounds like he's about to star in his first threesome pornography that's being recorded in like 1973.
Watch out, guys! Stinkles is into the room.
I've read through a lot of this. A lot of this was just very edgy shit. It's nothing that's too out of the ordinary. And I mean, I look at the state of 343 and I'm just honestly not even shocked.
Well, do you remember the emblem that they introduced for Juneteenth and what they called it?
Yeah, apparently that's been a thing since the Bungie games. That's what the thing was called. It was just never renamed. So if that's the case, that's simply just a matter of bad timing.
Oh,
if 343 were in a different state as a studio, that would just be like, oh shit, what was that? But really, it's just another thing that adds to their reputation, simply because of the timing of everything. When this specific thing isn't even 343's fault, but
no, it is. It is.
Life.
No, it is. It's still their fault.
It's just how it works out. It's crazy.
I still blame them for that. Did Frank O'Connor, or Stinkles, I should say, Stinky Balls, whatever his name was?
I don't know why, but that just sounds like a slur to me, even if it isn't. Something about it.
What sounds like one?
Stinkles,
yeah.
For whatever reason.
Did he drop the N-word in any of those tweets? I thought I seen somewhere that he did. Oh, okay.
I don't recall, but I mean, potentially. This is a long-ass thread. I'm sure I'll leave a link to it in the description. But there's a lot. There's a lot to be read here. When it comes to all this in regards to Frankie Boy, he's always given me such a weird vibe. Like, something's always been off, and it's guys like this who always try to give off this innocent, positive, really, hey guys, what's poppin', sort of energy. I suppose,
That
is a way of
voice.
calling it.
Sorry, that voice
But
killed me. Yeah.
but behind the scenes are usually some of the weirdest fucking people. And then you
Yeah.
look into their history and a lot of shit that they say post on websites like NeoGAF, which I don't want to shit on the website itself because at the end of the day, a website is purely just a website. It just comes down to the algorithm and the users on it. But with a website like that, there does tend to be some level of red flags to it. I can't get too mad at this because a lot of it is just jokes. I mean, Buggy, for us to get offended by jokes, I mean that would seem that would just be pretty hypocritical, wouldn't you
Oh
say?
no, no, I'm offended by everything. I'm offended by the word joke, actually.
I imagine that if enough attention were to be brought to this, Microsoft would have a say.
Hmm.
Or maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. When I look at this and I look at the many other things people have made posts about on the internet, all in all, this is pretty tame shit. Just gotta keep it honest, keep it real. Again, you can check this all out in the description below. Halo Infinite Melee bugs aren't being fixed because devs are working on other things. Moral of the story, right?
Oh yeah, it's like I see all these developers on Twitter and even the Halo Twitter account. Yo, they're focused on everybody else but themselves. They're like out here promoting Fall Guys. They're out here giving props to other developers, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like you have a steaming hot pile of shit on your plate in front of you at Thanksgiving dinner, and you have yet to do anything about it. Like, why are you out here promoting other people?
Because those other people care more.
And I'm sure the collaboration paychecks and everything else are nice, but like I just don't understand. Like you have a game to fix. You have a community to try and save.
It's not gonna happen.
No.
I know YouTubers, other YouTubers in particular, talk about ways to save Infinite. How can we save this game from falling? Guys, the shit's dead. It's been dead. Halo Infinite, how you see it, this is Infinite. This
Yeah.
is the infinite potential.
If anybody genuinely believes that this game's gonna have this huge patch update with all the things that Halo needs and it's just gonna be fixed within the next, I don't even know how long, it's not. The product you have is the product you got. Sure, will we get more content, drizzled out and crumbs of content throughout the seasons? Absolutely. But this is it. This is the majority of what Halo Infinite will be.
Yeah. And this next post right here on Reddit perfectly sums up everything that can be said. So, just a fruitful bit of info about 343 in general most aren't aware of. By 2005, Ross was a general manager for Microsoft Game Studios. When Halo developer Bungie split from Microsoft in 2007, Microsoft created a new internal team to oversee the franchise. Ross recalled that her colleagues felt Halo was a waning property and looked at contracting an outside company to produce new games, but she argued differently. So, in other words, if it wasn't for Bonnie Ross, the current head of 343, there wouldn't be a Halo even being worked on. But it came at the cost of Halo being in its current state, and we're going to read more into that right now, actually. So, Ross had first become acquainted with the franchise through tie-in novel The Fall of Reach. The deep backstory and universe of the novel appealed to her. Ross's pitch won over Microsoft Game Studio general manager Shane Kim, and she was put in charge of the new studio 343 Industries. After Bungie announced that they were leaving the Halo series in the hands of Microsoft and striking out on their own, Halo fans were justifiably worried about the future of the series. More than that, however, Microsoft itself was likely worried about what they would do. This isn't grammatically correct with Halo at that point. It turns out one of the possible options they were considering was going with Borderlands developer Gearbox as an option for taking development for Halo 4, which, if you know anything about Gearbox, Randy pitched for it. You know just how bad of an idea that would be, because you look at Aliens Colonel Marines and just how terrible the false advertisement for that game was almost 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at how much of a scumbag piece of shit Randy Bitchford is, as he's been nicknamed. We think that Halo 4 had its issues. The game would have been a laughingstock had Gearbox taking on development of it. Back before Bonnie Ross, the studio head at 343, was hired to build the studio. There was an attitude at Microsoft that Halo was done, but Ross took the job anyway to change that attitude. People felt like, let's get another Halo or two out, and it's the end of the franchise, she told Bloomberg. The last thing I asked for was, if I take it over, I want to be George Lucas. I want to own everything, and I want to do things differently. So what's your thoughts on that little...
Lucas.
What's your thoughts on that little Wikipedia page? I assume that's what this is.
I mean, that pretty much sums up what everyone's kind of feeling in terms of the franchise. It's they're never gonna stop. They're never gonna stop making Halo. I'm gonna tell you, like, Halo is a money machine, and they are all aware of this. Like,
see, that's the thing. I don't know if I fully agree with that, for the simple fact that
no. Here, let me elaborate. The Halo brand, the title, Halo, the name, is a money machine.
Okay.
Not the games. The games were, and don't get me wrong, will the next Halo release launch do well? Yes. Because they're somehow going to trick all these people, again, into thinking that this is it. But longevity wise, like, here we are, Infinite is not worth anything long term, in my opinion. But look at the Halo show. Absolute steamy hot dog shit. But that show did so well number wise, it already got greenlit for season 2 after like 3 episodes were out. I mean, it's a Paramount Plus exclusive and everything else. Like, Halo's always gonna make money, just not the games. And I think they're realizing that they don't need the games anymore to produce revenue. That's why the games are just being left to die. That's
the thing. When it comes to the Paramount Plus show, they never actually gave an exact amount of numbers. So when they say good viewership, that's probably just referring to the amount of people who have seen it in some form, not people who have actually kept up with the show. So we'll see how season 2 goes, but I just feel like there isn't going to be anything after season 2. And yeah, when it comes down to it, I've been saying this for the last few Halo videos. I sound like a broken record, and Buggy's gonna back me up on this, I'm sure. Halo, and he was just saying this. No one gives a shit about Halo anymore. It's simply a brand that is there to make money in other means. There's nothing to save. What we're seeing with Halo, this is what's intended. This is the best case scenario. Because if not for 343 happening, if not for Bonnie Ross and that ringtone, if not for any of that, we would have gotten Gearbox, who would have made something far worse than 343. Or we would have a company like Valve, who would never even do anything with the IP. This is the best case scenario. Halo was not meant to last after Bungie left. And let's keep it real, as much as I love Reach, that game was simply a testing grounds for Destiny.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they made it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the abilities were, guys. And 343 followed suit, because when you get in people who hate Halo to work on the games, and even if a traditional Halo shooter is still well received, remove it all anyways, because we want to make something that's our own identity. And it's just saying you want to be George Lucas, and then just looking at how Star Wars, in this context, how that's been received in recent years, and how there's been all sorts of creative differences and issues with creative control and the lack of focus with the sequel trilogy. And then you look at something like 343 and the lack of focus with their own trilogy. I think the parallels are there, like Bonnie wanted them to be, but not in the way that she was hoping for. Which, I mean, she's a corporate VIP, man. Ultimately, her goal is to bring in money, appeal to as many people as possible, which the irony of that is that Halo, when it did have an identity, appealed to far more people than it does now. The less of what it is, the more it ends up being something that no one wants, because it's simply just another game in the crowd, and that's where it's at now, especially with all the different IPs. Microsoft has, when it comes to Bethesda, all the studios outside of them that they own, and now that they're gonna have Activision under their wing, Call of Duty, Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, all these different franchises, they don't need Halo. In terms of just first-person shooters, Halo means nothing anymore. It means nothing, which, I mean, that really just begs the question of what does it mean to be an exclusive game with Microsoft? Because I don't know how much you remember, but in the second half of the 360 lifecycle in particular, you notice that there was significantly less exclusives or focused on that compared to earlier years of the 360.
Yeah. I mean, look at the first half of the 360. I mean, the 360 arguably was the number one console selling. I mean, it had the most console selling exclusives on the market. You know, like, and now it's like, what even is Xbox right now? Like, what is Xbox? What incentive do people have to buy an Xbox in 2022 that you can't get on a PC? Like, what is the Xbox brand right now?
That's the thing. Xbox for the last 10 years has been in this consistently weird place of where there's this constant talk of games and exclusives, but we don't see a lot of those games because they either get scrapped, or if they don't, so many of them end up being lukewarm or just forgettable, mediocre. And I'm not trying to turn this into a console wars thing, but you look at a company like Sony and Nintendo and all their flaws, even with all that in mind, you look at their output of exclusives, let's keep it real, it shits all over Microsoft. And
it does.
That just makes me think it's not about the games for Microsoft, it's about selling the service, because that's where everything is going. Whether it's gaming, music, TV shows, movies, it's all about the fucking service. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter the quality. Phil Spencer even said it himself. He doesn't care about how Halo does. They please the investors at launch. He doesn't care about how these games launch, which maybe he should care a little bit more if he wants the quality control to be there. But it's clear that's not the goal. It's to sell Xbox not as a hardware console, really. It's to be sold as a form of software, where no matter where you're at, whether it's on your fucking Microsoft Windows phone from 2011 with Windows 8 installed, if we're talking 2012. It's about having Windows 10 or 11 on your PC, your tablet. That's what it's about. It's about Game Pass being everywhere. They want as much subscription purchases as possible, and they're only just now starting to make money from it. They were bleeding money for the longest time. And shit like that applies to, like, Amazon, for example. Amazon, they weren't making money for the first 20 years. They were losing money. Or YouTube, for example, only just started recently making back profit. And these companies are the only ones who can afford to have these services exist. That's why all these smaller companies eventually die out or go into bankruptcy. That's all a different topic, but it just comes down to it's simply just money makes the world go round.
It does.
And now more than ever, I understand it. Now more than ever, I get it with the perspective that I have in terms of gaming. I get how things work. I used to be mad about shit like this for the longest time, but now I see it as this was just always how it was meant to be.
Yep.
It's just, it's like with a lot of microtransactions. Give them an inch, they take a mile, they push the shit up in terms of pricing, but then they lower it back down enough to a point where it's still shitty, but it doesn't piss people off nearly as much, like Horse Armor DLC in Oblivion. People in 2006 were pissed over that sort of thing because, what? I'm spending $3 on a cosmetic item, my in-game horse? This is bullshit. Whereas now, $20, you get a store bundle for a battle pass, and that's the norm, that's accepted. So, just seeing how the industry's changed, it's wild. A little bit else left to say. Just these two here go hand in hand. Halo Infinite multiplayer still suffering from serious desync problems. I can't read for shit tonight, which there's some info here. I'm just gonna go through it real quickly.
Okay.
Sorry. Just one more thing, and how to get into Halo Infinite campaign co-op beta. Yeah, we're at a point of co-op betas. Remember when we were planning to play that shit together at launch?
Yep, we were going to play it on live stream. So I noticed something that people have brought back up is the Infinite store. The prices went back up.
I was actually just thinking of that.
That's really interesting. All the prices went back to pretty much how they were at launch when it was a problem. And it's weird because, and this should be telling. Everybody complained about the prices at first, right? Almost nobody's really complaining about it now because of the severe lack of interest in the game at its current state. When you don't even have the majority of your community bitching about something they just complained about not even a couple months ago, that's sad. Like, to me, that is telling about how much people still care about this game. I mean, obviously, it got my attention. I'm talking about it in this video, but, you know, people are talking about it, but it's not nearly as bad as it was when it first happened. And to me, that's very telling about the current state of the game.
Just apathy. That's all there is to say. It's just
And
apathy.
they, no matter what, they'll fix something, but they will always go back to what they wanted to do. They're trying to cash out. Halo is in a state right now. They're trying to cash out with as much money as they can because they are well aware of the position their game is in at this point. They're trying to do the same thing with MCC, hence microtransactions. They know that this franchise, at least the gaming side of Halo, does not have long to go until it's dead. So it really feels like a glorified cash out that they're just trying to get. They're trying to suck out every last fucking penny from the community before we all kind of collectively agree to move on. And I'm gonna tell you, with all these games coming out this year and early next year, I just don't see how Infinite survives at this point. I mean, look at Splitgate. Splitgate is thriving right now because it's like the next closest thing to Halo. And Splitgate, the 1048 Games, what's the developer behind Splitgate? Is it 1048?
I'm pretty sure that's the name.
They actually give a shit about their community and their game. They're always putting in updates. They're always adding content. And when Modern Warfare 2 drops, man, I really just don't see how Infinite survives that.
I'm at peace with that. I don't have a reason to be mad anymore. I get it for what it is. I get it. They have no reason to care, so as a consumer, as a fan, why should I?
Yeah, and it's very mutual. Okay, they do not care about this franchise, and now neither do I. And when I say I mean the collective I, we, us. You know, we've given them more than enough chances, and Infinite really showed their true intentions and how they really feel about their own game and how they feel about us, and they don't care. And that's fine because I am moving on. I have other things I'm going to invest in, other games I'm going to grind on my channel personally, and I think that we've all given them enough chances and they just don't care. If they cared, something would have been done years ago. And this goes beyond Infinite. This goes with Halo 5 and Halo 4 and the MCC's launch. I mean, there's been a consistent breadcrumb trail of evidence that shows that they do not care about us or this franchise. Their feelings mutual at this point.
Yeah, and if we were to just keep talking and rambling, we would just be repeating ourselves. We'd be walking in circles then.
Yeah.
I mean, why keep beating down on a dead horse at this point, right?
Yeah, no.
Or in this case, cash cow, just milking what's left in those fucking udders.
They made their bed, and they're happy to lay in it. It does not seem like they regret anything they've done.
It's a real shame because, going back to what we were saying before, we had plans to play this shit co-op. We were planning on doing a lot with this game. With the multiplayer, I was really thinking of all sorts of covering of news and such, and gameplay videos, community nights, maybe, and sadly that just can't happen now. And I think back to when Chris Lee was still the head of 343 and the talk of, oh, this shit's a 10-year plan, which that right there was a red flag. Free-to-play, red flag. The gameplay that we initially saw, that was a red flag. This entire game's been a red flag. 343 themselves is a red flag, just like 343 Guilty Spark within the original trilogies. Ultimately, I don't think anything that they had planned for this game was ever actually planned. Everything that we saw with the free-to-play, for example, that was them just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what would stick for damage control. That's all
Mm-hmm.
it was. There's no care here, and in hindsight, I feel like Chris Lee was one of the few that cared. And I just feel terrible for Joseph Staten knowing that this baby that he helped create is nothing more than a sinking ship. And he's the only one who cares enough to actually steer it. But you can only steer around an iceberg so long before it eventually gets too big and you crash into it, no matter what direction or course you take. So instead of remaining on that ship, to everyone who is a fan of the series, jump off it. Find something else to care about. It's over. Yeah, I'm not going to keep repeating myself. Any final words, Buggy?
Inbred.
Halo Inbred.
No,
the next
no,
branch
no,
back.
no. You said the baby he helped create. It's inbred.
Put that poor thing out of its misery.
I don't know. I just thought it would be funny. You said any final words, and that's what I come up with. So
I mean, that about describes how I feel as a Halo fan, so, I mean, you're not wrong.
yeah, that's pretty much it. I got nothing else to say. I'm gonna be making my own sort of video in regards to Halo on my channel, but it's just done. It's over. And I'm looking forward to everything else coming out this year and early next year. So, yeah, that's it.
Microsoft's moved on from Halo, and you should all do the same. Yeah, I'm just gonna end it there. This was a lengthy video, and it doesn't get to drag on any further, so that's gonna be it. Hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to check out Buggy's channel. Link to it in the description below. That being said, that's gonna be it. I hope you all enjoyed for what this video is worth, and I'll see you all next time. But until then, I'm out. Later.
Later, everyone.